So here's what I lovingly refer to as the Comprehensive Educator Research Program. And some of this is information that'll come out in Educational Action Research later this year in an article. But about 4 years ago, with a lot of this work, I found myself in our laboratory school, which we have a K-8 laboratory school that's connected to our university. And in conversations where I was connecting with teachers who were part of our graduate program and really listening to their needs and starting to slowly over the last 4 years build a comprehensive research program in conjunction with some of the great team members at the laboratory school to what it looks like today, where we've got these structured levels in order to provide scaffolded support for our educators to grow as researchers. We're trying to build research capacity within each and every educator within this laboratory school. And there are threads of connection and engrossment that are in every single level. And I'll talk a little bit about some of those pillars here. But this program has really become my passion project. And we can see that educators can progress through the various levels or not. You know, they can enter in where they feel it's the most appropriate fit. But starting with these introductory research workshops that could occur at professional development days, moving into a graduate course that's taught on site by me every spring, called Teacher as Researcher, where they'll engage in a semester long, as the NEARI folks have called it, probably Action Research Light, you know, as their first experience in that graduate course, but then progressing into the Research Communities of Practice, which is a monthly group that meets. And in there, you're diving deeper into your action research practice by working on a project over an entire year, collaborating with others, perhaps, that are working in a project, and you're kind of growing in your research personality, and then becoming a mentor to mentor other new researchers within that Research Communities of Practice. And lastly, if you so choose, you know, building a collaboration into the university to work with other folks that may have similar ideas as you. You know, maybe our science teachers working with some folks from the engineering department, you know, something where they can kind of broaden their research capacity. So 4 years into this collaboration, we've got about 41 studies that have been conducted at various levels. And to Jackie's point, the principal, the headmaster at the school, took the Teacher as Researcher course and completed her own research project as well. And I think that was really important to building the culture at the school. And looking back, because as we built this, we didn't have an idea of what the following principles would be, except that we know that we wanted to support teachers in their growth. But looking back now after 4 years, we've done some work on what are our principles and how does this work to really create a culture of inquiry within the school. And these are some of the pillars that we have found that have worked for us, that we've always had consistency in our core. We've had a couple teachers, maybe 3 or 4, that have been with us since the beginning. And that core has been really important to keep, you know, to allow kind of a heart of the program as other teachers may come in and out. And those teachers have grown tremendously over their past 4 years as part of the program. Self-selection always, and this is different from some other laboratory schools that may be doing some things within teacher research. We really don't believe in mandating that every single teacher at our school take part in this. It's popular, and it's popular because it's transformational, but not because you have to be there. And so we really encourage self-selection to be involved at the various levels of this program. And even further than that, we would never mandate what our teachers chose to study. It's very important that you are choosing to study whatever you need to in your own practice, according to your own values, if there's a tension in your own practice. And as a facilitator, this really is helpful for me, because actually looking at what they are choosing to study gives me great insight into what is a priority for them at the school site. And in addition, we ask them to self-select how they want to disseminate. This has been great because Some of our teachers have chosen to disseminate, locally within their own school, and some of them are presenting and publishing in larger, in a larger venue. But it's important that they do this in their own time. And another pillar is that we provide multiple levels of dissemination, that we have an internal way for them to disseminate as well. And we honor that this is, this is important for them to showcase their work, even if it's internally, but that we also support them if they want to move beyond that into a publishing space, into presenting at a significantly larger conference. And the last thing that we found has been really important is that we have to evolve the opportunities for growth and learning. If it's the same thing every time, it's no longer transformational. It has to grow with the teachers at the program. And that involves, adding that level 3 and 4, where they now can become mentors, that they can now influence others as well. Constantly thinking about how to evolve those opportunities has been really important. One of my partners in this is a biologist, and so she's significantly more quantitative than I am. So I probably would never have created something like this on my own, honestly, but it's a fun thing to have. So this is a snapshot of, she keeps all the data of who's presenting and who's publishing throughout the program. And the numbers the numbers are interesting to always look at, but I really think that the story on the bottom is helpful for me to understand that a couple things. When we started this program, our educators were not willing to publish or present without the safe space of each other, which was totally fine. So they were doing everything collaboratively, presenting collaboratively, publishing collaboratively, writing collaboratively. And that's fine. We saw a transformation about 2 years ago where they started to kind of come into their own and are really taking on more individual tasks. And that's been really great to see. They're starting to serve on expert panels for teacher research. We're starting to see individual publications, and that's been a great growth in the program. My favorite is 2020 and 2021, because as anybody who worked with schools during the pandemic would know, I can't believe anybody joined, because it was so overwhelming to be in that space, in the educational space during the pandemic. And in Florida specifically, we had very lax. We were back to school very early. We had very lax pandemic regulations for our school. So our teachers were completely overwhelmed and taxed with how to keep everybody healthy, how to keep themselves healthy, how to keep their families healthy, and how to also educate students in this space. And so yet still, everybody, came back and still continued to want to research. And so that was really heartwarming.